All right, it is the hour, at the top of the hour, so let's dive in. Welcome, everyone. So nice to see you. Some faces and some black boxes with your name. You don't need to turn on your cameras, but welcome. I'm Julie DeBoer, and this is Lori Siebert, who you've probably heard of, seen, and been following and adoring. She's one of our mentors at Mastrius, and we're so pleased to have her lead us in this month's painting challenge. So for the next hour, Lori's going to do a demo for us and teach us about reductive painting. I did put a reference painting in the chat. And it's not that we're going to be doing that particular one, but just so you can see a finished product. The idea for these challenges is to take what Lori teaches and let it inspire you to create your own work. So you can apply it to your own subject matter, use your own style, just run with it. If you want to copy what Lori does, that's okay too. Just credit her if you share it on social media and whatnot, and don't sell it. And then next week is equally fun. We're going to come back here, same place, same time, same link and everything. And we're going to look at everyone's work. So, so you have to submit it by posting it on Instagram with hashtag Mastrius Painting Challenge. If you have a private account, we won't be able to see it, just FYI, so you can private message it to us. And then Lori and I are going to come back. You're coming back, right, Lori? You can do next week? Okay. Yeah. And then we're going to go through everyone's paintings and take a look. And it is so cool to see everyone's unique interpretation and what they do with it. So don't forget that part. And I'll put those details in the chat too, but I don't want to yammer on too long. So Lori, it's off to you.
Okay, so I'm going to work on a couple different paintings because I normally work on more than one thing at one time. Oh, hold on a second.
I just unspotlighted myself.
Oh, okay. So one way I work is I've been doing licensing for 16 years, and so I have lots of paintings like this that they're just random paintings that ended up being put into the computer and made into a collection. So I don't know what to do with these, so I'm using them for my own collage fodder now. So I'm going to just start on this first painting using pieces of a painting I've already done. Some of you are probably going, oh no, you're tearing up your art. But I sort of have stacks of this stuff, so it really doesn't bother me to tear things up. And I kind of started this, we moved our studio of 30 years a couple of years ago, and I had all these folders and folders full of stuff, and I just kept some of my favorite things, and I'm using them in paintings now as my own collage fodder. So I'm just using matte gel medium. I like the matte better than the gloss, and I'm just going to apply some pieces. I'm just building up a background, and I like backgrounds that have a lot going on, because I feel like when you're doing reductive art, that works better when you reveal the shapes in the reductive part. The busier the bottom images, the better.
Yeah, that makes sense. So reductive is kind of like negative painting, is that right?
Yeah, correct. So you'll see when we get to the end of this. Oh, this was probably done in gouache or watercolor, so it's kind of spreading when I'm doing the matte gel medium. Oh well, that's okay.
The medium goes on top as well, it looks like.
Yeah.
Seals it, I guess.
So I have two paintings in kind of this blue, brown, teal colorway that I'm going to work with. And when I do the painting part, I just finished 9 paintings. It was a commission for Children's Hospital. And to make that a little easier and go a little faster, I just purchased these I can't hold it right. We'll do it this way. Valspar little color samples from Home Depot so that I didn't have to keep mixing the colors. I just did it that way. And
Okay.
that actually worked really, really well. And it really helped to keep the consistency in all of the 9 paintings with the color. So that's just a little tip. So this painting, I'm using those paints because I'm kind of cheating. But on the other painting I'm gonna share, I did that. I was working with gouache on that painting. So I'll share that in a minute. So I'm just continuing to build up a background. And first I put my collage pieces down and then I'll show you the painting part. I also grabbed just these little pieces and parts out of magazines, and I a lot of times paint my own collage fodder, just painting textures and things onto paper. So I can use those in pieces as well.
Is there any sort of paper material that would not work well? Like magazine is glossy, but obviously it works. Is there anything that doesn't?
It's harder when the paper's heavier weight to get it to stick down, but there is heavyweight gel medium for that, but it's a lot easier if the paper is not super thick.
Okay.
So magazine pages actually work really well. I would be a little more careful normally to not get bubbles and things, but I'm just kind of moving quickly.
Okay. Do you know what you're going to be revealing? An animal, a bird, something going on?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
It'll probably most likely be on this piece. It'll most likely be a bird and a floral, since those are my things.
Yeah. Anna's wondering, how is magazine paper for acid content? Does it discolor?
For the archival purposes.
Yeah.
I think when you're coating it with the matte gel medium, I think you're okay.
Okay.
Because I think that provides some protection. I use magazine pieces a little less than I use my own painted collage fodder, and the magazine stuff that I use is normally kind of unidentifiable and more textural.
Yeah. Patterns and whatnot.
Patterns and yeah, things like that, because I love pattern.
Irene, great question. What are you gluing them down to? Is that a canvas or?
This is a square gallery wrapped canvas.
Okay.
I'm hoping I'm going to have some pieces in the square one. Is it square one? The
Square
one
for
with,
show?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm having I got accepted in that show to do some floral pieces. So I'm
Okay.
hoping this piece will turn out enough that it can maybe be one of the 3 pieces.
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that's great. It's a good show.
Yeah, you introduced me to her, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. And what quality of watercolor paper for the stuff that you're ripping from that you started?
I like, actually, this wasn't watercolor paper. It was a lighter weight paper. But normally the kind that I like is Canson. I like Canson watercolor paper better than Strathmore and I don't do the really high end quality watercolor paper. I think Canson works just fine. I like the flow. I like the way the watercolors flow on that paper.
Awesome.
I like getting some words in
What
the
does it say?
background. is connecting with.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to now, I think, stop with these collage pieces and do some painting. Actually, I think I'll do a little bit more in the center. See what I've got here. Do a little bit more of this. So normally when I do the reveal, a lot of times the image is more in the center. So I probably shouldn't have put those really interesting pieces on the edges, but we'll see. We'll see when I get to that part where I'm going to do the reveal. So does everyone actually paint along on these, or do they just watch?
Yeah, usually both is happening. If you're painting along, let us know in the chat.
So a little bit about color for me. I have my kind of palette that I always go to, and I tend to love secondary colors versus primaries. So a lot of times that's what you'll see. I love my go-tos are normally pinks, oranges, some shades of green, but I don't like pure Kelly green. I prefer like weird acidy ochre greens. And I really have been liking lately, and I'm doing Instagram challenges with Esty McLeod, where she's giving really great color prompts based on different female artists' work, and they're more a limited palette, and I'm kind of really liking that. Oh, yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I started this sketchbook where I was taking flowers out of this flower guide book. I don't know what camera to go to. This flower book.
Let me.
So I started doing drawings from that book in this sketchbook and some other icons and things. So I'm just going to use some of these shapes as reference for filling in the areas. So I'm using just a colored pencil and doodling really quickly. And this bottom layer doesn't have to be a masterpiece and completely thought out, because it's really just creating texture for when you do the top layer. I love to like draw over, because you'll see when I do the painted part why I do that. So I'm just being loose and not thinking too much, just kind of drawing. You can actually, sometimes I'll use my non-dominant hand when I'm doing these. And another thing that I've done for this background layer is some blind contour drawings. I don't know if everyone knows what that is. Do you all know what blind contours are?
Is that when you draw and you're not looking down at the paper, you just look at the thing you're drawing and you don't lift your pencil? Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
So I'll look at a photo in a magazine or some flowers that I purchased and do some blind contour drawings for this bottom layer. Like it gets stuck on what to draw and you're just kind of staring at the page. I just grab something and draw that way. And I love how the blind contours are kind of wonky and not perfect.
Yeah, me too. I like how loose you're doing it, it kind of adds to the whimsy of the piece.
Yeah, a lot of my work is I love things that are whimsical and wonky.
Janice is wondering what the name of the flower book you referenced is.
It is called Flower Guidebook, and it's published by Phaidon. I guess that's how you say it. Phaidon. If you want to take a screenshot, that's the book. It's really thick, and it's really great because it has flowers. I'll show you the inside. It's organized by color. So it has really great photographs of all different flowers organized by color.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great reference book. So let's see. I'll do maybe a couple more little things. Okay. So I filled up all my white areas. So now it's kind of like paint by number. I just go in and I usually start with one color at a time when I'm doing this. So I'm going to start with this dark blue, and I basically just go in and start painting the shapes. And I kind of move the color around the canvas.
This is acrylic.
These are those Valspar color. They're actually house paint, which I got them at Home Depot because I bought these for that children's hospital project.
Great.
So
they're probably, I think house paint is acrylic.
They are oil based.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah. So this is it's very therapeutic. You have to be patient, but it's just fun to fill in the different colors. And I have like 3 different waters because I tend to like put the cool colors in one water in between and the warmer colors in the other water. I don't have to keep changing it so often.
Yeah. It's a good plan. I usually change my water when I go from warms to cools, but that's a better idea. I like that.
Well, then I don't have to get up as often.
Great. Woman.
So this is going to take me a while to fill all this in. That's why I did the second painting, because I can show you a little bit about that one.
Okay.
And then kind of go back and forth so you don't get bored.
It's also therapeutic to watch you paint, so don't worry about us getting bored.
Sometimes I don't paint all the way up to the line work I drew and let the line work show. Other times I paint right up to it. And I just drew on this with a colored pencil.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you ever use ink?
I do sometimes. I actually use more ink on the, like, if I do a top layer, like sometimes I'll go in with different pens and draw on top as another detail layer.
Yeah.
So you can see I'm kind of just moving around in whatever shape is calling me. That's the one I paint in. Okay, so I'm gonna stop on that one for now. And I'll come back to this one in a second.
Okay, I'm loving it.
So this is one that I worked on the background for yesterday. And this was done in that kind of style that I just showed, where I just drew. What I'll do a lot is if I'm thinking that the reductive or the icon that's going on the top layer is going to be a bird, I might do all bird shapes drawings on this layer. I think I'm going to do a tree on this one because of the Instagram challenge I'm doing with Estee right now. This is one of the color palettes that she chose.
Awesome.
And it's hashtag Colori Tree, COLORI tree, if you want to check out what people are doing. So I think my top layer is going to be a tree. So I went ahead and painstakingly painted this yesterday, but I'm going to kind of do the opposite of what I just did on this one. I'm going to add in some collage pieces on top instead of doing what I did on the other one. I tend to not have one way that I work all the time. I kind of like to mix it up. So I took these really yummy faded construction papers that I had and just painted little swatches of textures that I'm going to use. And I'm going to cut some of these up and put them on top or integrated into this background.
Awesome. And what was the hashtag again? Colori tree, but can you spell it again?
It's COLORI tree.
And the first letter was the C or a B?
A C as in cat.
Okay, I'm not seeing it.
COLORI.
There it is.
TREE.
Okay, here it is, folks. Oh, fun. Oh, yeah.
Tons of really great work people are doing. A lot of times when I do challenges on Instagram, we have really fun judges that award prizes at the end. But this time, Estee has such a great following because she does her color challenge throughout the year, and so we didn't feel like we needed to do prizes, although she and I might end up giving prizes at the end.
Well, I know we have prizes next week too. I put it in the chat, but if you're new, if you are new, we are giving away a 1-month events membership. We do a live event every week at Mastrius, like live art critiques, painting demos, panel discussions, painting wars, interviews, you name it, we do it. So you'll get 1 month free of that. And then if you're a Mastrius member, we're going to give away a Mastrius painting apron.
Oh, cool.
3 pockets. They're the best.
Fun.
And it's not a competition. It's just a random draw because we're a non-competitive community. So we'll look at everyone's work. I don't know how people pick one over another. They're all so unique.
Yeah, I know. You have Mastrius is a wonderful community.
Thank you. And because you're part of it too.
Well, I've been really, really blessed with some great people in my group.
That's
very
awesome.
Talented and just really lovely people.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have an amazing community.
You really do. Bravo.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, we just built it and then everyone filled it, and it's really the people that make it amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you had to create it. Somebody had to create it.
Yeah. And you know what? I was just sharing this with someone yesterday. When I started as an artist, I felt really like I felt like it was a really competitive industry, and I'm a bit sensitive, so I own that. But and I was really isolated, and I'm an introvert, so I really had no motivation to ever leave my studio. It took about 7 years before I went to my first workshop, and then discovered all that I had been missing out on. So we decided to build Mastrius. I thought, okay, let's build it for someone like me who is like the most sensitive, most introverted. And if I can make a safe community for me, then anyone will feel safe here. So I think that's part of why it's working. It is really.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think it's very true. I think that's exactly what it is.
Mm. And I get to meet all of our mentors before they join us. And well, I don't know. I wouldn't bring anyone on that I wouldn't love working with. So our roster is amazing. The best artists in the world.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah, it is a pretty great gig.
So you can see I'm just kind of like, I don't know, just playing with where these are going to go. I like the pattern that these are adding, more, a little more texture. I don't think I'll do too much more of this, just a couple more maybe. Let's see where this color. How are you doing, Anna? Are you painting along with me?
She sure is. Oh, Anna, let me spotlight you. Hold it up. There's Anna's. Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look at that color. Love, love, love.
UTS. Anna, I am lucky because Anna is my navigator for my my mentorship, and I couldn't do it without her. She's amazing.
She is amazing. Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, all the mentorship at Mastrius happens in small groups. So Lori is working with 8 artists who are all at the same stage, and I believe yours is emerging stage.
Yes.
And Anna is the navigator, who is Lori's assistant, and she's kind of a team captain for the small group. So she's going to be connecting with the artists in your group, throughout the month. And we have a chat platform where everyone gets to connect and share images, and another session. Anna leads another session, just a social 1-hour get together where we can paint together, get to know each other and whatnot. So that's what the navigator role is. They are gems.
Yeah, and me being a fearful of technology kind of person, I tell this story about how a couple years ago I was asked by Matt Tommy. He has a community called Thriving Christian Artists, and he invited me to be on a summit, a virtual summit. So I had my presentation. It was all beautiful, and so it's my turn to go on, and there are 700 people on the summit, and my PowerPoint wouldn't work.
Oh,
And
no.
I was at the office. It was a Saturday, and Jeremy, who is my tech person at the office, he was not there because it was a Saturday. Oh my God, I was sweating. It was terrible. So I had to talk through the presentation with no visuals, and I followed up with everybody and sent out the PDF, and they were really kind. Everybody was very kind, thank God.
That's awesome. I've never heard of them, so I'm looking them up.
But talk about being, my blood pressure I think went up like a lot.
Yeah, that's a hard one, and you can't do anything if it's just not working, right? And you don't have the right help. You're just stuck. It's a terrible feeling.
Yep. So today for this, I had to practice, make sure that I had everything hooked up right, and then pray that it all
Nothing at all. Yeah. I'm sorry, I've missed a few of your questions. So Connie, yes, in the top right corner, you won't see it until you move your mouse to the top right corner. A little view icon will pop up. If you move it to speaker view, then you'll see just Lori's screen nice and big. So if anyone else is struggling to see that. And a couple questions. Do you ever use a reference photo, Lori, or do you just wing it?
I'm a constant researcher, so I have tons of Pinterest boards that are secret boards. But I used to work more from reference, and I do still work from reference a lot when I'm doing stuff for licensing.
Yeah.
But I've more been kind of trying to develop my own vocabulary, I guess, and the way that I draw. So that book that I just showed you is actually the start of where I wanted to draw a bunch of flowers how I like to draw them, so that I have shapes that I can keep referring back to, that are in my language that I'm building. And I'm really in love with folk art, so a lot of the flowers that I draw are not realistic but more stylized. And I think that probably comes from, I was a graphic designer when I started, so I like things that are really graphic.
Yeah, that's great. And is this on a wood panel or is this also canvas?
This is on a canvas, but it's a thin one. It's just one that I had on hand.
Okay.
So it's not a gallery wrapped one.
And do you work on wood as well, ever?
I do work on wood panels. I like them a lot.
Any preference between wood and wood?
Well, when I kind of work on wood panels when I like to apply dimensional things to some of my pieces. So if I'm going to do that, I like the wood panel for the stability.
Right.
So that's, if I'm going to do something with a 3D element, then I go to the wood panel.
I have a Lori Siebert in my front hall, a bluebird.
Oh, that was from the first show, I think.
Yeah.
For Mastrius.
Technically it's Mastrius's, but we don't have a corporate office, so I get to hang it all in my home.
Yay.
Yeah, not selfishly at all.
Okay, so I feel like this background is finished. So now what I normally do, and I have to find my tracing paper, one moment.
Right. At least I'm not sure which group. We were talking about her mentorship group, so I'll put the link in there for that. Did you mean the other one, color tree?
Oh, the Collage tree. That is that's just a challenge on Instagram.
Okay.
But like I said, the artist I'm co-hosting that with, Estee McLeod, she does a year-long course with all kinds of color prompts. Okay, now comes the hard part. What do you put on top? So I think what I'm going to do, I like this part here as the base of a tree. I'm gonna have it kind of come up. I'm gonna do like a weird wonky Dr. Seuss kind of tree. Sometimes what I'll do when I'm figuring this out is cut shapes out of paper and lay them like little windows so I can kind of see. But for this, I'm just going to do it with tracing paper. I actually like this kind of flower just as it is.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna paint that in. And then, of course, I have to have a bird. I think I'll have one more branch. Well, actually, this looks like a little, I like,
I see a dragonfly up there.
I always see birds.
Yeah.
Birds, birds, birds.
Mm.
This is gonna be, I don't know, just wonky. A lot of times, here's a tip that I often forget to do and won't be doing on this one, unfortunately, is I scan this layer before I paint on top of it so that I have this layer still as a digital image.
Oh. And then,
Because
yeah, go ahead.
I actually like a lot of these bottom layers for inspiration for fabric.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask. Fabulous. Where would I find Glory Siebert fabric?
I don't have any fabric yet, but that is something I'm really trying to work on because I love pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on a collection right now. I tend to like fabric that is more suited for apparel,
Okay.
so like bigger scale.
Yeah. Now I noticed when you came in your shirt, the t-shirt you're wearing, is that your artwork as well?
Yes, it is.
Love it.
Can
You
stand
can
up.
just kind of let me spotlight you. Nice.
There's my shirt.
Oh, that's so great. Do you sell those or did you just make some?
I did. This a woman, her name is she Val Boys, and she had a company called Moi et Toi,
Okay.
and she's no longer making them. Let's see. So now I have my little reference image here, and I'm just going to use that for when I paint this top layer. Sometimes, like I said, I'll cut these shapes as stencils, like as white paper, and then like stamp around them, but I'm just going to paint it this time. So I taught reductive painting at a workshop I did in France last September. And it was really funny because a lot of the people didn't want to do this layer. They fell in love with their bottom layer so much that they left it as is. And actually, I do that sometimes too. If I really love the
Yeah.
bottom layer, I won't do this layer. I'll just leave it. I kind of want to do a show at some point where I do both, like, so like the paintings that could be really, really busy next to a painting that I spotlighted an icon.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be neat.
So for this top layer, you can use any color really. I usually like to use white or a really dark color to pop the image out.
Mhm.
And then I actually do, yeah, that one's supposed to happen. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I need to pay attention for a minute here.
You're choosing the color to pop the shape.
Yeah. And you'll see when I I won't probably do this whole reductive thing, but I'll go back into these shapes that I painted so far, because sometimes they're not popping out as much as I want them to. So I'll show you what I do when that's the case. Let's see, this came up like that. Hard to remember to talk when you're painting.
Yeah, no worries. No
Oh,
worries.
you know what? You're gonna lose me on the one camera because I'm low battery, but you can still see me painting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do you do a series, like with a color palette or theme or that sort of thing?
I'm starting to do that. So here's where I am in my journey. I've been doing licensing for 16 years and I'm still doing licensing. And what I really want to do is to branch out into doing more fine art work. And so I have a couple of series in mind that I really want to work on.
Mm.
But right now I have a bunch of stuff going on still for licensing. But that's on my goal list.
Awesome. And you do really large work as well. I think I've seen, I don't know if it was on your Instagram feed, but a large painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love painting really large, and that's one of the other things I really want to do. I have some sitting in my basement that I bought when they had a 70% off sale at Michael's last
Nice.
fall. So I have, yeah, I just need to get through a couple things that are on my docket right now.
Mhm.
I'm pretty busy up until May.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop here for a minute and just show you what I do when I don't like how things are not popping out enough. So this leaf feels like it's not gonna pop as much as I want it to. So I'm gonna water down some of the blue and just kind of go along the edge
Oh, yeah.
to get that to pop out more.
Nice. Looks a bit three-dimensional now. That's awesome.
Yeah, otherwise, like you lose the shapes a little bit. So I like to just call them out a little bit more by doing this.
Jennifer's wondering, when you aren't using house paint, do you have a preference for acrylic paint brands?
Well, I love golden, but I don't always buy golden because it's expensive. So I mostly work with Liquitex
Mhm.
or Amsterdam. There's a color that I love and it's what's it called? Something, it's a real neon pink. And I love that color. And that's only available in Amsterdam.
I don't think we have Amsterdam in Canada, or not at my store anyway. Anna, do we have that?
Kensington in Calgary, I know that at Kensington Art Supplies they do.
They
And
do.
Tom was talking about that last night as well, that there are some colors that she only buys Amsterdam because that's the color that she likes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's really that one fluorescent pink that I love it.
I might
I
have to
think
find.
it's called Reflex Rose or something like that.
I'll have to look for that because I am a massive pink fan. And sometimes I need something almost fluorescent.
Yeah,
Cool.
well, it's a favorite.
Okay, I'm putting it on my list. And there was another question here. From Liz, did the tracing paper leave marks on the canvas, or are you following from the tracing paper image line next to the canvas?
I actually am just it didn't, I could have put like a carbon paper under this and traced it on. I didn't do that, so I'm just kind of like referencing this. The most of the time what I'll do is cut shapes out of white paper and kind of lay them on here.
Mhm.
And that's how I kind of determine where my shapes are going to go.
Yeah.
And you could see I'm also not using just the blue to call out these edges, because I don't want it to all look like it has a halo of blue.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can see in this little area down here that flower's popping out a little more than it was at first.
Lovely. Yeah, and great question came in. So this is being recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel tomorrow, Mastrius YouTube channel. And then we're meeting back here next week, Friday, same day, same time, same link. And we're going to look at everyone's paintings. So if you want to share yours, you don't have to, you can just come and look. But if you want yours to be in the showcase, post it on socials or private message it to us. Our Instagram account is mastrius.official. And if you want to post it, hashtag Mastrius Painting Challenge, or tag us, or both even is better. And I just put the hashtag in the chat again, so you can pull that and make sure you're spelling it right so we find it. If you have a private account, we won't see you if you tag us or hashtag, so then just message it to us privately. And we'll collect them all up, and then Lori's going to come back with me next week and we're going to go through and look at everyone's awesome creations. And if you missed the beginning, the idea is you're welcome to copy Lori, although I imagine that's going to be very difficult because you have your own paper and whatnot. But also just to run with it, explore your own sort of inspiration and your favorite color palettes and whatever subject matter excites you. So just take the idea and run with it. We love to see everyone's unique interpretation, and that's a big thing at Mastrius that we love to celebrate. Yeah, so keep that in mind for next week, and we'll have prizes. If you're not a member, we're going to give away 1 month events membership. And then if you are a member, a Mastrius painting apron. And yes, oh, sorry, Lori, one more thing.
I'm going to say I did a painting video course for, her name is Olga Fern, and she does a year-long course with several different artists called Paint Your Heart and Soul. And I did a reductive painting video course, and it was really fascinating to me, the different things that people did. Like none of them looked anything like what I originally painted. Everybody just kind of took the technique and made it their own. And it was really fun.
It's almost magical. Like, we've been doing this for, I don't know, a long time, but that showcase is so phenomenal. It blows me away every time how unique and beautiful everyone's ideas are. It's so inspiring, and for myself, it really inspires me to really lean into doing it, my painting my way, to really explore what my style is and what my artwork is saying and all that.
Right.
Really encouraging.
One thing that I like to do on the paintings when I'm doing the reductive is I like to leave a little bit of the border, this edge, so I don't paint out completely all of the background.
Yeah.
Always have to put a bird on it.
I love birds. You can never fail with birds.
That's my thing.
And you'll get a link next week. If you registered for this, you'll get a link next week, Friday, as a reminder. And just so you get that link back in your inbox to make it easy to come back. Oh, and Lynn commented, Lori, your process looks relaxing. Love your palette. Your graphic design background is a plus and comes through in your work. This piece is full of fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's taken me, like, I feel like I'm finally maybe figuring out what my style is. Because when you are a licensed artist, I've had to be a chameleon for so many years.
Yeah.
Because I'm responding to trends and what my different manufacturers customers like, and so I'm all over the board usually.
Mm.
So I've been really like trying to figure out how do I like to paint and what is the work that I'm always attracted to. And one thing that I always seem to gravitate towards are Australian artists for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
Like it never fails. I'll be going through Instagram and something will catch my eye, and it's typically always an Australian artist.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that's about. And Swedish artists too.
Okay, very cool. Well, and I love hearing that you're still figuring out your style. So Lori at Mastrius is a master artist. We have really high criteria for that label that most of our masters are uncomfortable with.
Yeah, I know.
I usually know that you're a good fit if you don't like the term master, because what they say after that is, I'm still learning, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so encouraging that you're still exploring your style, you're still learning, you're doing, these other challenges with other artists. It's fantastic. The idea of arriving just doesn't exist. It's just a journey. Yeah, it's always.
No, I don't think if you're a creative person, you ever arrive.
Mm.
There are people that I think work on a certain, like they work on, maybe they're a ceramicist and there's a certain style that they always do, but I think there's always growth and involvement happening, I think.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got stuck for quite a few years, and it wasn't until I've been being mentored at Mastrius since we started 2.5 years ago. And I worked with Mitchell Albala and Melissa Galazzi, and they got me unstuck so good. And now I see my artwork changing and morphing, and I'm like loving painting. I'm giggling while I paint. Like it just kind of became work because I have gallery representation, and there's a lot of pressure to paint skills. And man, am I having fun, and I just feel like my new life breathed into my lungs. It's so good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I need to start taking some Mastrius courses.
Yeah,
I never have time. Like I've signed up for or purchased a couple of courses from people, and then I never have time to do them.
Yeah.
And then my husband's like, why do you buy these things? You never do them. I know.
The intention is so good.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of the mentorship, as you know, Lori, it's only once a month, so it doesn't take too much time.
Yeah.
Do as much of the homework as you're able.
So I kind of forgot about that other painting, but what I might do with that one is work on that and show that next week, because it's going to be tedious. watching me paint all these little sections. That's why I did this guy yesterday. I'm like, they're not going to want to sit there watching me paint all these little shapes.
Actually, the comments we're getting is that it's cathartic and relaxing. So I think we're eating it up. We only have 4 minutes left, so you just go to town.
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah, sure does. Julie shared, not me, obviously different Julie. This is so encouraging to hear. I'm feeling a bit stuck right now. Love that you giggle while you paint, Julie. I love it.
That should be a song. Giggle while you work. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, I even dance now while I work. Michael Orwick, when I met him, he's one of our mentors, asked, Julie, are you a dancer? And I was like, well, why would you ask me that? And no, I'm not. And he said, because your artwork is dancing.
It is. It does. I think he's right.
Well, and I used to love dancing when I was a kid. I danced, and all the time I was dancing. I was never a proper dancer. Like I never went into lessons. And so that was a huge aha moment for me. That now is kind of helping me access that in myself.
That's awesome. Yeah, whenever I teach at my retreats, there's always dancing at some point. There's always dancing. I just taught in San Miguel with my friend Michelle Allen, and we had at least 2 or 3 dance parties while we were there.
Nice. San Miguel. I have family in San Miguel, if you can believe it.
Oh my God, it's so wonderful there.
I've not been yet.
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah, it's on
You
my
must go.
How is everyone doing? Anyone want to hold up progress shots and I'll spotlight you? Let me just move it to gallery view. Anyone brave enough? Anyone? Okay, all right, I'll spotlight Anna first. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice, Anna.
I love it. I love your colors.
All right, anyone else? I'm looking. Oh, Liz, it's covering. Oh, okay, if you hold it right in front of your face, it might work because you have your background. No, it's not working.
Oh, my friend Liz. Hi.
Yeah.
Liz.
If you turn up your Northern Lights, you might be able to see it.
You're muted, Liz.
And you're muted.
I'll try and turn my Northern Lights off.
Okay.
Hello, my friend.
Hi, sweet pea. No, I don't know how to turn it off without stop. Maybe I'll stop it.
While you're doing that, anyone else want to hold up a painting? No, that's okay. No pressure. All right, Liz, let me know if you figure it out. Go back to speaker view. If you're not seeing Lori large, click that icon in the top right corner view and move it to speaker view. We have 1 minute. Any last, how about some words of advice, Lori, for us this week as we tackle your painting, your reductive painting?
I just think practice. The more you paint, the more you discover things, the more you grow. So yeah, my daughter, Kenzie, she mostly works digitally, and when she goes to paint, she always says, I'm not a painter, I can't, but she doesn't do it. Like you have to do it to get better. And so I think just practice.
Yeah. We had success with Liz, beautiful Liz. I love the color palette, those cool tones.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
Okay, one more time, Liz.
Ooh,
Woohoo.
it's just the background so far.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And now you
And-
can see I'm sitting in my garage studio with the central vac and all the mess behind me.
Hey, whatever works.
Exactly. As long as you have space.
That's right.
Fantastic. Well,
That's
we are at the hour. Thank you so much, Lori. It's turning out beautifully. So will you have a finished piece for us to showcase next week as well? Will this be done?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
I'm probably going to finish it today, actually.
Perfect. Send it in to us, and then we will showcase it as well.
Great.
Great. And thanks everyone for coming. We'll meet back here next Friday. You'll get a link in your inbox. And again, hashtag Mastrius Painting Challenge, or private message us your image if you want to be in the showcase, and we'll have prizes, and Lori will be there too, and we'll review everyone's work.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you, Lori.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a wonderful. Oh, and you know what? You are still on, so I'm going to add you. There you are. You haven't lost your battery yet.
No.
All right. Thanks so much, Lori. Have a wonderful
Thanks.
weekend. And
You
we'll
too.
see you next week. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.